What's up, everybody? I'm going to just go out and predict this fight real quick. It's Terence Crawford versus Canelo. Yeah, September 13th, I believe it is. I haven't watched much in the media about this. I haven't watched much about anything about it, but I'm going to give you my prediction. If you're new to this channel, I have boxing receipts. I just didn't turn this computer on. I've predicted many fights right, even unknowns, more than 10 times in a row. Know what I'm talking about. I predicted right here, all the receipts on this channel, that Canelo would be dominated and easily beaten when he faced Floyd Mayweather, because I know boxing, baby. Sometimes you're going to get it wrong, but most of the time I'll get it right. So check this out. This is real talk. I'm going to just give it to you straight up. There's a lot of variables because of the age. Terence Crawford is like middle-aged right now. They're going to fight at 168. Terence Crawford never went up this high, I believe. It's going to be really difficult. Canelo, if you're Canelo's people, I'm going to break this down. If you're Canelo's people, you probably want him to engage in a big fight. Canelo still has the power. Canelo's on a decline. He's getting older himself, approaching middle age. This should be really interesting and fun. This fight's going to be great. So you have Crawford, who could switch stances, amazing fighter, and who was hurt back in the day by Gamboa. What was that, like 8 or 9 years ago now? Wow, I can't believe it. I think it was the 8th round. No notes in front of me, talking off the head, boxing IQ, lit up. So I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win, and I know a lot of these so-called fake boxing experts, a lot of them are fake. They just talk boxing, but they get it wrong over and over and over. Yeah, you can know the names, the fighters, but when it comes to predicting fights, a lot of these so-called boxing experts, writers, that's their living. They get a check, so they're just picking, but they pick wrong a lot, and they're not consistent. Whereas somebody like myself, yes, I pat myself on the back, give myself props, pretty damn consistent over the years. So this could be totally wrong, but you're not right all the time. That is true, but most of the times I'm going to be right, especially when I know the fighters. So I'm not going to say like, oh, this is a 50-50 fight. It could be Canelo. I can imagine what these people would say. It could be Canelo if Crawford stands in front of him. It could be Crawford if he's running. No, this is the way it should go down, because I know Canelo's camp knows that you want to get him into a psychological, you better not run. They're going to call it running. It's the sweet science, baby. There's no running here. It's using your feet. Crawford has to not make a mistake. One mistake could lead to him being hurt and or finish, change the entire fight. Say Crawford's doing great. After a couple rounds, settles in, confuses Canelo. He just can't. Canelo's footwork's bad. He just can't catch up. He's heavier. If Canelo can keep his speed. A lot of ifs, because we don't know what's going to happen. But this is the way it should play out. But if he gets hurt one time, that is Crawford, it could change everything. It could be really bad. But I don't think that's going to happen, because he was rocked by Gamboa back in the day, and he recovered very fast. That's the one time I really saw Crawford hurt, like really bad, and he covered it up quite well. But if you look at that fight again, I think it was the 8th round, not sure, all out of the head. He was like really, he was in trouble. He was in big trouble, and he stood his ground, and he fought back, and he won the fight in amazing fashion, right? Stopped Gamboa, who was an amazing talent. Like, you could say, well, arguably one of the wasted talents biggest waste of talents from a decade ago. I mean, this guy had everything. That's another story for another day. Gamboa had it all. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for him in his career, and I'm sure there's a lot of reasons why. But going back to this fight is really good. I can't believe it's good for boxing. It's going to be great. A lot of people probably say Canelo's going to win. He's going to knock out Crawford very easily because of the size difference. But you got to figure out, a fighter like Bud Crawford, who is proven to be undefeated. Imagine if I missed, because I haven't been up on boxing or all streaming services. Imagine if Bud Crawford died, lost his last fight, and I'm here making this video. I didn't even know it. I don't think that's the case. I'm cracking myself up. There would be some real big trolls in the comments. Oops. No, that's not the case. He didn't lose. I'm cracking myself up. It'd be so embarrassing. I would laugh. See, I don't take this seriously. But anyway, so I think that this is how it should go down, in my humble opinion, with my boxing IQ. I've been watching boxing forever. I know nothing about baseball. I know nothing about football. I know nothing about any other sport. I know some UFC, MMA. I know somewhat what's going on. But I've been watching boxing since I was a kid, and I'm very angry. I'm a disgruntled boxing fan because of all the apps. Where the heck do I watch a fight now? I got to go to the highlights. But Canelo, there's going to be a lot of these people saying 50-50 fight. They're not going to want to commit. I hate that. 50-50 fight. There's no 50. One of these guys is going to win. There's no doubt. Unless it's some shady, decision. Okay? So either Canelo goes in there and it really hurts Canelo badly, gets him in a brawl. That's why you're going to hear a lot of, well, I don't know if anyone's talking about this, but I would be, if I was Canelo's camp and Canelo's fans all across social media, saying Crawford's going to run. Because they want him not to box. They want him to stand in front of Canelo, which is stupid. I'm sure Crawford is such a disciplined professional, champion, elite fighter, even at his advanced age right now, where if it all comes together, he could keep his speed and his footwork intact at this age, like mid-30s. He wins this fight. And you got to look at the blueprint. One second. The blueprint happened long ago. The blueprint is with Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo. Of course, Canelo's his own style, his own, he takes more chances when he gets mad. They say Crawford likes to fight. He gets angry. He likes to stand in front when he gets hurt and wants to show that he can. He can't afford to do much of that in this fight because of Canelo's size. Canelo's coming down, but yet he's still powerful. The punch never goes, baby. So, my humble prediction, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not going to give you this 50-50 clickbait stuff or whatever. I'm giving you my prediction here. I'm going to go out and just say, Crawford wins this on points all the way. There's never going to be a KO of Canelo from Crawford at this stage of the game. Maybe if they were both 40 and 43 years old, we'd have a different outcome. I think that Canelo is younger. He has a lot of the advantage because of the size, because he's a little bit younger. But if what I'm banking on is as an athlete and the boxing IQ of Terence and his team, they're going to keep him disciplined. They're going to keep the speed. They're going to be practicing the footwork. They have to have him stick with these gifts, because if he goes off the tracks, goes off the rails, and decides he's going to go macho time and stand in front of Canelo, he's not going to win that fight. So he's got to get in, got to get out. Back off the ropes. Canelo's whole deal is he's got to go forward, body attack, vicious body attacks. Canelo has to do this to win this fight and try to take Crawford out. And I believe because of the weight size, the confidence, because what we know about boxing, what everyone knows about boxing is the bigger man is a good win on a smaller man usually. So that being said, he's going to try to do all those things. Bully him, beat him up, grab him, hold him, get him in there, get his back on the rope, and have Crawford fighting that type of his style. That is just the wrong fight for Crawford. Crawford's going to have to maintain for 12 rounds his energy high, and he's going to have to take every round, not by running, but by using the sweet science. That's why it's called the sweet science. Okay? You have rare fighters like like Crawford that can do that, and they can go up in weight because they have that talent, they have that skill where they can outbox a lot of people at any weight. Can he bring that up in his mid-30s? That's the question. So I'm going to bank on that he does this on this night, on his night. He does that and he retires a winner. Oh my God, that would be amazing, right? Now, I'm not looking because I'm not a fan of, I'm not doing a fan thing here. I'm not. Canelo's a great fighter. I always thought he was just under the A-elite fighter because he was exposed by Floyd Mayweather. They picked wisely throughout his career. They put him in there with the right guys so he could become a star. He's really good. He's excellent. But he's not, even if he beats Crawford, it's because it's a different size, a different weight. It's because in his middle age, it's different. Even it doesn't mean you're all of a sudden an elite fighter because you beat an A+ ring general. If back in the day, Canelo would have beat Floyd, he would have got all the props and all the respect in the world. But he is really, really good. There's no doubt. I'm not hating. I'm not picking because I'm a fan of someone. I'm just breaking this down with no bias, really. Believe it or not, if I thought Canelo could win straight out, I would say it. Is it going to be close? Would it be surprising if he won? No. Because it's that type of a fight where at this stage of the game, you got such a smaller man going up in his mid-30s, there's a really good chance that Canelo could win this fight. That's what makes it exciting. And a lot of people believe he should win this fight. But I'm picking Crawford because of what I told you already. Because of his boxing ability, his speed, which I don't know if he's going to bring that up. If there's no speed there on the night, and his footwork is not there, it's a wrap. Canelo, you could call it early, he's going to win the fight. So we have to see this in the first few rounds, the first half of the fight, if Crawford can keep his speed and keep his feet. In other words, he's not like hurt in any way where his feet are just tied up. Because one big shot from Canelo can mess the whole night up, and then he earns it and he straight out wins. There's no excuses. He could really screw Crawford's, throw a wrench to the plan, if you will, in the boxing plan where Crawford's fighting, and he's not right, because he's a human. You get hit in the head and you get hurt, your legs might never recover. And at that age, it's quite possible. So there's so many of these variables that make this fight very exciting. So the bottom line is, the fight breakdown is, the fight should be Canelo going forward, trying to bully, trying to beat up, trying to KO and take Crawford out, or just land really big shots and really put him in a way where Terence is on the defense, and it's not in a good way. It's not like he's not landing a lot of shots going backwards, and he's not looking good. He's not readjusting and getting his wins in the pocket and then getting out, spinning him around, getting off the ropes. That is Crawford when he's trapped, spinning Canelo around, getting points and getting out. He has to do the sweet science. He has to become Pernell Whitaker. He has to become Muhammad Ali. He has to become Floyd Mayweather. He has to become all of these things on that night. Just really slick, employ the sweet science to the best of his abilities, and make hardly any mistakes to win this fight. And he should secure a comfortable win. But then there's a lot of politics involved here. There's a lot of politics. So if it appears that it's a close fight, but yet most boxing fans or people that really know what they're looking at see that Terence won on points, whereas Canelo landed a few and micro spots of the fight, big shots that seemingly hurt Crawford, and then they're going to give it to him, they're going to give it to Canelo because of that. So you have these judges too. First of all, boxing is full of it. There's so many bad decisions. It's so corrupt. That's another story for another day. And that's why boxing fans like myself, I'm just kind of like, step back, whatever. It is what it is. Plus, it's hard to find the damn fights where there's so many streaming apps and stuff like this, and it's hard to. Whereas back in the days, you had Showtime, ESPN, you had, HBO, and there it was. You could watch your fight. Now it's like, what? I don't even know where the hell to go. Amazon, where am I going? I'm going to Netflix. Where am I going? I just renewed my Netflix plan after many years, so I'm going to watch this fight. Unless they try to get some type of pay-per-view on the Netflix. You got Netflix for the month, but yeah, we're going to charge $49 for this fight. I'm out. I'm not watching it then. So my prediction is, my official prediction, not making excuses, and I'm not going to pull the video down. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. I was right many times. I'm thinking Crawford's going to win on points if all goes well and the judges are honest. Of course, there's always one in there. Even if it appears that Canelo lost the fight on the cards, there's always that one judge, right? There's always that one judge. But I got to go. I'm getting... Oh, that's not good. Sorry, I thought that was something to do with work. So my prediction is Canelo loses on the cards. A lot of disgruntled, mad, pissed off Canelo fans will be telling you how he won. And what if he drops Crawford at some point, which is quite possible, but Crawford recovers and wins rounds and keeps winning rounds. Then you're going to see a lot of that. Oh, we should have knocked him out. But unfortunately, that's the way the game is. You got to suck it up, champ. So I think that Canelo loses this fight on points. If Crawford's serious, and I think it is not just a check, I think it's his legacy at stake here. He wants to solidify it. He wants to win this fight, no doubt about it, and go in there and just win, which he should do on points if he does everything right. And his speed, the speed is there, the footwork is there, switching stances, confusing Canelo, not getting trapped and falling into Canelo's traps, not getting lifted up, bullied or whatever, pushed, punked, whatever, leaned on quite often, and making it. Canelo's whole deal is to make this an ugly fight. Canelo's footwork's probably not as good as it used to be, if it was ever great at all. He was really good. I think he's legit. There's no doubt about it. But I think that Crawford's the better fighter. So is he going to still be the better fighter at this advanced age? Like I said, if Canelo beats him, it's like, oh well, he was 35. He was technically middle aged at 35, right? I don't know. That's for other people to talk about. I just think if Crawford performs like the younger Crawford, and he has that speed and everything is right, I don't see how this guy wins. The sweet science, he's just going to outpoint him. He's going to do his thing. And then Canelo's going to be standing like, damn, I tried. And another loss. All right, I'm out. Hope it's a good fight. Hope you enjoy it. And everybody, I'll be back maybe. What else should I talk about? Damn. Now I want to talk. I got my coffee going. Later.